Do not get between this preteen genius and his gold. Welcome to MsMojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 10 things we want to see in the Artemis Fowl movie. Before we begin, we publish new content every day, so be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. For this list, we're looking at elements from the books or suggestions we have for the upcoming Disney film. If you haven't read the Artemis Fowl series, beware of a few spoilers coming your way. Number 10. Show, Don't Tell. The Artemis Fowl series begins when a 12-year-old genius kidnaps a fairy and ransoms her for gold. Although the book dives into the daily lives of the fairy people and each step of Artemis's plot, we don't need every detail in the movie.
I warn you, boy. You are not prepared for the truth.
Adaptations of children's media tend to involve clunky exposition that can bring stories to a standstill. If the writers want to include finer details about the world, they should show us in subtle and interesting ways. The audience will appreciate a script that focuses less on backstory and more on the layered kidnapping plot. Number 9. Butler in action. If you combined Batman's Alfred with The Rock, you'd get Artemis Fowl's Butler. Butler comes from a historic line of bodyguards that go through the training from hell to protect the Fowl family. He's extremely loyal, and so dedicated to his job that he doesn't bother using his real name. At the same time, he's an unstoppable warrior that can take on any human or magical threat without fear. In the books, he's beaten down countless thugs, and even defeated a troll. We hope the talented Nonso Anozie gets plenty of chances to show off Butler's skills when he plays the bodyguard next year. Number 8. A large leprechaun presence. No, we're not talking about the little green guys. In the books, the lower elements police protect the underground world of the fairy people. If a magical creature escapes to the surface, a reconnaissance team member, or leprechaun officer for short, is sent to investigate. LEPrecon is full of great characters like Holi, a sarcastic centaur who serves as their go-to tech expert. Its members are also equipped with cutting-edge equipment that helps them do things like stun enemies and turn invisible. Since nearly half the first book is spent developing LEPrecon, the movie should give them a major share of the runtime. Number 7. Magical special effects. Bringing a world with fairies, advanced weapons, and a hidden city to life is a daunting task. Fortunately, the first trailer gave us good reason to be optimistic. There were glimpses of sleek leprechaun tech along with the fairy who underwent a stunning transformation sequence. While it seems the movie won't lack CGI effects, it would also be great to see some amazing practical effects for the fairy characters. Other movies have shown that it's possible to create creatures by using more makeup and prosthetics than CGI. The right combination of practical and generated effects could make this fantasy feel real. Number 6. Holi Short in the spotlight. Although the main conflict starts with Captain Holi Short getting captured, the elf is far from a pushover. She became the first female member of LEPrecon by working hard and ignoring everyone who doubted her. In the books, Short was resourceful enough to break out of her cell in the Fowl Mansion. If she hadn't shown compassion and helped her captors fight a troll, she could have escaped her hostage situation early. Holi's complex personality and heroic instincts make her story compelling from start to finish. She has what it takes to become a breakout cinematic heroine. Number 5. Kenneth Branagh giving strong direction. Kenneth Branagh's immense talent has kept him in demand as an actor for several decades.
Can everybody see me? Can you all hear me?
However, his directorial projects haven't been as consistent. While Branagh's takes on Shakespeare have largely been well received, his fantasy work has been uneven. In films like Thor and Mary Shelley's Frankenstein, he seemed to struggle balancing big action set pieces with nuanced character development. Fortunately, interviews with Branagh suggest he's recognized past missteps and will make sure we're invested in Artemis and his crew. If Branagh can provide great character development with creative action scenes, then he could have the biggest fantasy hit of his directing career. Number 4. A focus on the first book. Despite being based on the first book, the movie will reportedly include elements from the sequels as well. Those future story beats should not overwhelm the main plot. If there's too many sequel details, we'll end up with a confusing story that feels like it exists just to set up other films, which seldom ends well. We're not saying fans won't appreciate nods to later mysteries, such as the disappearance of Artemis's father, but for newcomers to the story, sticking to the original book's plot with just a few sequel hints will ensure they won't be too confused to demand more movies in the franchise.
Our world has never been in more danger.
Number 3. Judi Dench as Commander Root. Commander Julius Root leads the Leprechaun team with lots of anger and an unhealthy cigar habit. Although he's not the calmest boss, he has a deep sense of duty and cares for his officers. In the film, the role will be gender-swapped, so that Academy Award-winning actress Dame Judi Dench can take on the role. Early reports said that her version of Root will be a steely leader. That description sounds like Dench's role as MI6 Chief M in the James Bond franchise.
Are you surprised?
Not particularly. But then you always were a slippery one.
Maybe that's why you liked me so much.
You flatter yourself.
If Dench's Root is anything like her iconic performance as M, we cannot wait to see her lead Leprechaun. Number 2. Good performances. 2 of the movie's biggest roles will be played by child actors. Newcomer Ferdia Shaw will portray Artemis, while Laura McDonnell will play Holi. Although they both look perfect for the roles, time will tell if their performances can measure up. There have been plenty of iconic properties that have been left at the mercy of bad child acting. Yippee! And since Artemis and Holi are complex from the beginning, Shaw and McDonnell will have to work hard to make their respective characters feel three-dimensional. Hopefully, Branagh will be able to bring out the best from his young actors. Before we conjure up our top pick, here are some honorable mentions. Number 1. A faithful portrayal of Artemis Fowl. Artemis Fowl II isn't your typical child protagonist. The 12-year-old is intelligent enough to discover a hidden magical society and outwit them at every turn. He executes his plans by hiding his true emotions under a ruthless and icy persona. As his exploits force him to make more difficult moral decisions, he defrosts and becomes more vulnerable. Artemis's transformation is a fascinating process that shouldn't be rushed for the movie. If he's less cruel to make him appeal to wider audiences, he won't be as interesting. Seeing Artemis at his worst will lead to the best version of this gripping fantasy. Do you agree with our picks? Check out these other great clips from MsMojo and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.